Okay, this is a short story about the benefits of education, adding to one's powers of persuasion. I need to do this fresh right after a nap. Uh, it's been over 20 years. It may have been 2001, the year I booked Amtrak round trip, because 9/11 was a real problem getting back. But anyway, one day we were having a roundtable discussion at Austin Access TV. We've been there since '69. We were doing Wayne's World before there was a Wayne's World. And the discussion was about it's that social justice warrior coercion dictation thing. The general manager, who was, we were already beginning to have our suspicions, and wasn't much longer than that he was convicted of theft of over $300,000 and other misappropriations. But this was a full, like, 7 or 8 years, which actually the Hispanics becoming a majority in Texas actually happened almost a full 8 years before the projected 2015. So, and the manager of the studio was a guy named Jesus. I think Jesus Garcia. And we're having, it's a mixture of, but still, it was really only Caucasians at the table, either light-skinned or darker-skinned Caucasians. It was no people of color there. I'm sorry. I don't accept you if you're... I'll get to the point. They were arguing over the pronunciation of Guadalupe Street. And I've told you before, in English, usage rules. And that's what this video is all about, is usage rules. It dictates the pronunciation of place names and proper names and also in the dictionary of the meaning of a word, which comes up first as a definition. So, Jesus was making a strong argument for, like, well, man, it's pronounced Guadalupe, like the Virgen de Guadalupe, the Virgin of Guadalupe in English. And we were bantering back and forth. And I was getting kind of annoyed at this trend towards my fellow Anglos in there, beginning to agree with them that they should try a little harder to pronounce and enunciate Spanish words. And I'm going like kind of bullshit under my breath, bullshit. Getting irritated because I'm getting close to my jump off time. And so it went on a little bit. And then I kind of gently slapped my hand on the table and I said, well, because I've been trying to teach them English. Kind of gently, I didn't slam it hard, I just kind of slapped the table a little bit and said, well, gentlemen, and lady, actually there's no lady there, the I think non-binary female director, she was also, that's who Mr. Villarreal replaced. And I said, hey, look, can we resume this conversation whenever I get back from New St. Botolph'S Town? I said it a little faster than it. And they all just kind of froze. What? New St. Botolph'S Town. Oh, wait. The locals pronounce it Boston. So now, even for my English audience, for my American audience, and my Australian audience and Canadian audience, now you know what the meaning, the etymology of the word and name, place name, Boston comes from. New St. Botolph'S Town. And in a heartbeat, I completely shut down the entire conversation, because we original Texans, who you are now invading and being given sanctuary, and you're allowed to go on we're still going to pronounce Guadalupe Street as Guadalupe, 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 because we still rule the town. It's our pronunciation of what is a foreign word, and we will damn well do what we please. Now, before I end here, I want to just say that my really happy with my click-through rate is becoming incredibly low. If I pop up on your screen, it's very likely that you're going to watch a little bit, and my average view duration amongst my other analytics are really looking good. I mean, if you're maintaining the 50 some odd, 52, 55, 56,000 people who've actually viewed, as opposed to just taking a quick impression and taking you actually where you stop and look, they count that. My average view duration time is 5.5 minutes. You know, there's a lot of videos that I don't last 30 or 40 seconds on because the thumbnail picture, others don't, and that's not, it just wasn't what I'd hoped for, and I'm gone. So when you average them all together, 5.5 minutes average view duration. Actually, those viewers who watch all the way to the end are the ones that are bringing it that high. So I'm pleased with my numbers right now, and I hope at 7 minutes that y'all have learned a little something about the English language and about the origins of the name of the town known as Boston, England, and New Boston in the Massachusetts colony. New St. Botolph's Town. Correct spelling will be in the title. Y'all have a good evening. I got a 2 hours nap. Apparently I've had a theft. It appears to be this non-binary person. Today I thought I would do, because it's kind of getting irritating, but there's a reason why you have a beard. You know, I've mentioned, for one thing, in case I need to start a fire, I was talking about the other day about the Jewish rule against it. It helps to prevent cutthroats, keeps insects off. I didn't mention that, you know, if you get close to a fire, if you're not oiling your hair, putting lotion, all kind of conditioners on and shit, this is fire resistance. This type of protein just melts. It does not ignite, provided that your oil content is low. And the only thing that's really prompted me is that the short hairs on my throat are becoming very irritating. And I spent a lot of time thinking about who could have snagged my little, very compact, charged up electric trimmer kit. It's only about a $20 loss, but I have about 14 razors, and I'll have to begin hacking at it tomorrow. Today, I fell asleep in the afternoon because I had to do about an hour's worth of stoop labor to go through everything that I had and try to recall where the hell is that little black bag. And it all came down to the young female who's clearly getting a disability check for some kind of gender dysphoria thing. She dresses like a boy, walks like this is kind of your bonus around here. She walks a little splay-footed like a young boy who hasn't really been properly athletically coached to place your feet, or familiarly to walk with your toes pointing forward, not splaying out like Yankees do. They say it's from walking in the snow. And I've seen cases so bad that they're splayed out almost 80 degrees. I've seen a lot of cases up in Maine where that person was so used to it at age 30, 35 that they splay out almost 80 degrees. And she would have needed that trimmer because she recently produced about a 1 inch wide mohawk, shaved, and only about an inch high. I think she wants to keep it like that. She's doing everything that she can to appear to be a young, hip male. As a matter of fact, my first contact with her, she aggressively pursued me as I was passing by the patio of Starbucks. And she hopped up out of her chair. And at first I thought I was talking to a young, boy. And she asked if she could come and sit up with me up here. And I said, sure, I'll be there. And then after about an hour, I realized that she had no intention. And That was actually a violation of a social contract we had just made, and since then I have not trusted that non-binary person one bit. At one point in time, I thought she was interfering with the charging of my spare battery, but no, it was actually that individual charger I had. I had several. I have to stick with the highest wattage one, but I don't know what she would have. She's probably let her armpit hair grow in case. No, actually, I don't think they could get that far, but let me remind you, for those of you who cross-dress, God has laws against that. I may get into that in a video tonight about, in the past, you might have been arrested, but when it came to light that you had been seduced by somebody of the same sex, dressed as and pretending to be the opposite sex, if you had a temporary reactive psychosis and harmed or even killed the other party who in their seduction of you, pretending to be something else, if you went nuts and harmed them, no jury, if it came to that far, would, in Texas, there would be no conviction. So God gives these commands for a reason. And since we are pretty much on the eve of Hanukkah, I noticed a lot of y'all drop off when I started going my Hebrews and talking about, I pay attention to my numbers. I try to give you what you want. And I'm going to go 12 minutes here, a little over. I had requests to show more of the area and talk about a little about Texas history. But in reality, almost none of my subscribers watched it. It was the local people, because I've got at least 300 daily, regular, got to get there, fix a Kent, and actually tell by the things are swinging my way. I could tell by the way people were treating me this morning that the gossip circle is in, and they're come to a final conclusion on me, which is that, yeah, let's welcome him here. He is one of us. Even to people who are not from here, this morning I'm pretty sure I saw probably what was one of the Flugers, or related to. You have to be a highly perspicacious, and you really have to be a Texan to spot an old-timey Texan who had the leisure of probably sleeping into almost 8 o'clock and then coming to the 7-Eleven to pick up an actual physical newspaper. He was really, and apparently he didn't like the Dallas papers. There's really, Austin American Statesman does not really go, they really don't. Unless you pay them big money, they really don't. They're not distributing the physical, actual, not virtual newspapers are pretty much dead. Anyway, that's been your lesson on New St. Botolph'S Town and how it became Boston. And been a little bit about the dictatorial nature and hyper-aggressive nature of this huge cultural shift as the far, far left is taking over my home state and has already probably taken over your state. When they start dictating your speech to you, you remember, was it Orwell, or one of the, I think his term was new speak. Groupthink, newspeak is becoming dominant in this country. Y'all have a good evening. It's a lovely evening here. And actually, when I started, it was almost dead silent, even though there's, they're all going off in the Festival of Avarice to, throw some of that plastic down. So my best to you and yours, and I'll be in touch.